Are you feeling tired or overwhelmed, possibly lost in a world of trying to figure out your 35 to 55-year-old body? Thinking it's perimenopause or thyroid dysregulation, possibly adrenal fatigue. The list goes on. Your liver is actually probably the problem. I'm Lacey Grimm, wife and homeschooling mama of 4, entrepreneur, God-fearer, folk herbalist, and aromatherapist. I'm a holistic health coach and a nature enthusiast, and I'm here to help other mamas crack the natural health code for themselves and for their families. And this podcast, The Liver Fix. I will download my personal revelations here, including why focusing on your liver is probably the actual fix you're in need of. So if you'd like to be a healer in your own home, tune in. This one is for you. This podcast is actually brought to you by my favorite 90-day liver renewal protocol, and it's available to you at 25% off with my link. You'll find it in the show notes. There are thousands of products on the market, but this program actually optimizes the power of herbs and essential oils, plus pure nutritional supplements, making it simple and easy. You'll feel more energy, better moods, fewer cravings, improved sleep, hormone balance, and so much more, all in less than 5 minutes per day. This system has transformed my health. I believe one of the hardest parts of being well is the constant challenge we're faced with in finding companies that provide products that are as good for us as they claim to be. Thankfully, I found one in doTERRA. Committed to purity, potency, and accessibility, their transparency and education continues to blow me away. Having partnered with them for over a decade to help families empower themselves with natural medicine that also improves the lives and the land of those who supply the plants we need for our health. As a family farmer, sourcing is as important as purity. The liver is like the soil of our body, the medium by which we can sustain our own growth. And if our journey towards health does not include healing the earth, it just simply is not sustainable. Find the link in the Liver Fix show notes or go to laceygrimm.com and start your liver-loving 90-day protocol journey right now. All right, exciting news. I'm back and I'm here to apologize and to fix a wrong. Actually, it wasn't really a wrong. I stand by the idea that as I ended the last podcast episode, I was talking about things we can do in the morning to get a good routine going on and really talking about hyping up how we need to fill those mornings with protein. But I wanted to kind of backtrack a little bit because in an effort to continually do better and know more and potentially understand the world a little bit better, I continue to do research and reading. And I read some compelling information that I thought maybe was something that you could take to heart and potentially do to improve your mornings, at least some of your mornings. And that is to not actually eat protein first thing. So I'm totally taking back what I said. No, I'm not. I actually think that this is something that we should go back and forth with because every morning is a little bit different, right? And we need to be able to adapt and adjust our sails, so to speak, depending on the weather and what we have going on. And so I wanted to put out there an idea for something that you could do to encourage the function of your liver in the morning hours, in the morning before you kind of begin your day fully, especially if you don't have a huge amount of activity going on in a certain day. And how this modification looks is simply to adjust when you eat your proteins and your fats. You want to push that off a little bit later into the day. And the reason for this is because what our liver does during the night is it regenerates and detoxifies our whole system, right? And so it's doing this process. And when we wake up, it's still doing this process. And generally when we wake up, some of the first things we have to do, we have a bowel movement, we have to pee, we have to kind of yawn even. And we see these things, these are kind of like detoxification. Stretching is sort of like a part of that detox, getting that movement going and helping your lymph system wake up. All of that is a natural part of what your liver is doing in its rhythm. And we want to support those rhythms as much as we can. And if you feel like you have a toxic load, one of the best things, and we all have a toxic load, let me clarify, we all have a toxic load. And in fact, our toxic load is potentially exponentially larger than what our forefathers would have had. Now, in some ways it's improved, right? In some ways we're not living in homes full of asbestos and lead potentially, or, breathing in smoke inhalation as if it's good for us, right? Secondhand smoke or firsthand smoke. We know that these things have consequences on our body. In a way maybe we didn't before. But there are all these sneaky things in our environments that, whether it's frequencies, energetic frequencies, and that, we can't we can't necessarily mitigate those. They're just flying around us all the time. And then there's, of course, ingredients in food. There's herbicides, pesticides, bacteria, things all around us all the time. So we really do need to be on guard to help support our body in this process of detoxification all the time. And the liver in particular benefits when we do this, because supporting the detoxification system and helping this process along is specifically helping the liver. There are some ways we need to do this. We need to be a little bit careful, but ultimately, I just wanted to share this tip with you because I think that it's not so difficult, and I'm actually really excited about implementing it in my own morning routine. And it looks like essentially pushing your proteins and your fat consumption off until later in the day, as late as you really can, until lunchtime, but not starving yourself. So I think what's the critical difference between how I used to live versus how I think I want to live is knowing and ingesting foods that are going to continue to promote that activity, that detoxification process. And that looks like juicing and fruits and vegetables in the morning and not a large amount of protein, even though that's what I was thinking was really what I needed. What I've come to discover is what I do need on, days where I have a lot going on is potentially protein. But on a lot of mornings, we do a lot of school in the morning. It's kind of a slow start, and I could easily incorporate just drinking juices and eating vegetables first thing in the morning and let that be how I start my day. And what that will do is it'll encourage that process of detoxification to continue on until all of these toxins that have started being eliminated can kind of complete that whole course. And because we have an overload of toxins in our lives, this process that maybe should only take the nighttime while we're sleeping effectively really does take longer because there's just more going on, right? So drinking is a huge part of this, getting in as much as you can. Again, it has to be good water, though. It cannot just be water. It can't be tap water. We want to make sure that we're replenishing the minerals in our system and we're adding in water that's structured in such a way that it will actually benefit and hydrate us. And some of this could mean adding salt to your water. It could be getting a beautiful product, like we have a recharge product I love, full of deep sea ocean minerals and other things that are just really good at hydration without the chemicals or the synthetics or the dyes or anything that might be in other products out there. And then even just juicing in general is so good for you. I know celery is particularly good for juicing. I don't particularly like it. I try to avoid celery in juice. I don't mind eating it, but I really don't like celery juice. But you can juice beets and carrots and apples and oranges and ginger and turmeric. And this is sounding really delicious to me. And I would love to start my mornings with some of this juice every single day. So greens you could add in, really important. So making sure we're doing this as a way to kind of flush out the liver from the things that need to go and just filling it. It's essentially a reboot with a fresh start every day of the vitamins and minerals and things that our body really needs to thrive. So if we really look at our mornings as a time to do that, and even if we're only doing 2 mornings a week this way, we're going to enhance significantly the function of our liver and the detoxification of our entire body. And what a simple thing, right? What a simple way to do this. And there are several places that sell juices. You really just want to make sure they're clean, organic juice, vegetables. We don't want to replenish toxins while we're trying to specifically detoxify ourselves. So just really looking for good, clean. Of course, the more local, the better off you'll be. That nutrient depletion happens as soon as a vegetable or a fruit is picked. So we really want to get the freshest that we possibly can. But doing it however you can, and just, I think this is an exciting way to sort of think, okay, my Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be dedicated to helping my body flush out the rest of the toxins that might be in there. And then if you really have a severe situation going on, let's move that up. Let's bump that up to doing this liver sort of renewal morning every week or for a week at a time or up to, a month at a time. And then really bringing in those proteins at lunchtime and having a plan for that. So packing that lunch, making sure it's ready to go. If you stay home, I think this can be actually an added challenge, is that you're home, you're like, oh, I'll just make lunch when lunch comes around. And then lunchtime comes and you're like, oh, I don't have time for that. So I actually would encourage you to consider doing that too. Just packing a lunch, even if you're staying home, or having a specific lunch set aside. So sometimes when I'm doing really good, I have things like cottage cheese, hard-boiled eggs, even sometimes a peanut butter sandwich, just something that is already made and ready for me to go cheese and some turkey. Having these things, it's just like treating yourself as if you deserve to be fed, right? Crazy thought. So anyway, my challenge for you with this particular podcast, which is a short one because, I'm really just this is just an edit of last week's. We really want to try this juicing morning. Try waking up. I actually am going to be doing a fiber drink in the morning as one of the additions. So I'll do my greens drink, which is my supplement, my daily supplement I take every morning, and my other supplements I'll be taking as well. And then I'll add in a fiber to help just essentially bind to anything that needs to get loosened and taken out. And then I'll add in, I'm going to do some fresh juicing of the beets and the carrots and the things that I'm pulling from the garden right now. I've got some kale and stuff that's still ready to go. So I'm very excited about this. Oh, and ginger. I love ginger and turmeric, so I'm going to add those too. But anyway, what are you going to try in your morning routine? How are you going to add juices in and then try to just put off eating anything significant until the lunch hour? And maybe it's 11:30. You can push it, make it a little earlier. But the longer a period of time that you can give yourself in the morning time and making that a part of your routine. And also don't underestimate the power of lemon water, because if that's all you have, just do your lemon water. And this is also a better option than jumping into the day with a high protein meal and coffee, right? We want to try to balance that out every other day or so. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope you're excited about this new information. And yeah, I'm excited that you're here and listening, and please connect with me however you see fit. I appreciate your feedback, and I'm so glad you're joining in.